you beautiful people, my name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever for a 4v4 Team Matchmaker cast on the map Requisite FAF version. And let's go ahead and get into introducing our players, starting with Team 1 or Team Red in the top right-hand corner, and Team Blue or Team 2 in the bottom left-hand corner. Starting in the northeasternmost position with the air player for Team 1, we have a Maroon Cybran going first land, and his name is Katawonga. Then we can move on to the west with the Red Cybran going first land, of course, going by the name of Foodman Steve. Then we can move to the center of attention for Team 1. He is playing the most central position. It is, of course, the Orange Seraphim going first air by the name of Mupav. Then, of course, last but not least for Team 1, a Yellow Seraphim going first land, and his name is Johnny Radars. Moving on to Team 2, starting in the air slot, we have a Dark Blue Cybran going first land, and his name is Perfect Storm. Then we can go ahead and move over to the Blue Seraphim in the east going first land, and his name is I, or otherwise known as Barcode, or that's what we're going to be calling him. Then up to the center of Team 1, the Purple Cybran going first land, and his name is, of course, Snakebit33. And last but not least for the entire game, we have ourselves a Cyan Cybran going first land, second air by the name of Navdino. Then we can really quickly take a look at the map. Of course, this is Requisite, which is kind of based off the map Sludge, if you've... No, not Sludge, The Ditch, sorry. I got my map names mixed up there. And of course has these kind of waterways that are really actually difficult for naval units to traverse. It's very shallow water, and then we have kind of some land bridges around the outside edge of the map and this central area, which has a decent amount of reclaim. Overall, the map has about 15,000 reclaim, give or take about 500, and it is a very beautiful map. Gonna be very fun to watch everything going on. What just happened? Oh, somebody disconnected. Who disconnected? Okay, apparently Barcode disconnected, which is gonna be unfortunate, because this is now a 3v4 at the measly minute of 3. We are now already seeing a disadvantage for Team 2. They are going to have somebody manage 2 bases. That player is going to land upon Snakebit, or I guess that responsibility, not the player. And that's going to be very unfortunate for him. We have a very early transport rush out from Mupav and a very early T1 bomber out from Navdino. And of course, this transport is going to drop a bunch of engineers right over here. And that's going to mean that this reclaim is going to be sucked up by Mupav much faster than even Snakebit can get his comm over here, which is going to give him a huge advantage. Up here to the north, the bomber comes in, going to go ahead and drop its first bomb on top of this poor little engineer and miss, because, well, it's okay. We all have bomber dysfunction. I was trying to find a better way to say that, but yeah, no, we all have dysfunctional bombers every now and then. Does get it on the second pass, so we don't judge for taking second chances here. And of course, over here to the east, a transport loading up with 5 engineers. This could be very dangerous if the bomb drops, and oh, is it gonna hit the transport? It does, and it kills all but 1 engineer on the transport. What an amazing little interaction there, and this bomber up to 7 kills. Another engineer right over here to the west is gonna probably end up going down, and Foodman Steve is in a lot of pain. A second bomber out, an interceptor is gonna come by, and that damaged transport is gonna die to the single interceptor out from Navdino. Of course, it's not the end of the world, as he does drop the engineer in time, and the engineer doesn't die to that. But right now, Foodman Steve has been crippled. He just lost all but 2 of his power generators. Oh no, it's a disaster. Oh no, he is just getting pummeled into the ground by T1 bombers. And this is why you need to build a mobile anti-air or get your own interceptors. With that, right now, Foodman Steve is in possibly the worst position of anybody in the game right now. Mupov doing very well on reclaim, although, for Team 1, up to nearly 3,000 after scooping in with that transport and grabbing almost all of the reclaim here. And now he's building multiple factories. This is a lot of build power here in the middle very early, and these T1 land factories, since he is Seraphim and Aeon have the unique benefit of being able to actually use these factories built on islands with both the Aurora and the oh-so-horrible Zooey. And that is, of course, going to probably be his plan. I would be surprised if he builds a bunch of thumbs, maybe a few, just to kind of help push the enemy comm off this territory. But I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of Zooies coming out from the middle of the map here right now. Let's go ahead and check in on Team 2 after that early action coming out from Navdino, who really is playing a stellar game right now. He's expanded much faster than Foodman Steve, and he's put himself in a good position. As down to the south, we don't have quite the same level of harassment going down on towards Snakebit. Could have been a very similar situation, but no T1 bombers coming out, and Snakebit has really ecoed quite hard as we check the economies. 61 mass a second for Snakebit 33, and overall Team 2 far ahead on economy as of the moment. That's the only positive to the situation of losing that player, is that it makes it a little bit easier to scale into some late game eco. He is very light on units so far, but he's not really getting pressure just yet, so will be interesting to see how this proceeds. Over here to the north, we currently have Foodman Steve traversing the waterways here to try and get himself into a position to deal damage to this expansion out from Navdino. And Foodman Steve just gonna walk up, gonna kill off a T1 mass extractor and get shot at by some Medusa. He's just standing in the rain, and the Medusa having a little bit of struggles with actually hitting their commander. And Foodman Steve just going to continue to walk his way in and keep on shooting at these Medusa. The Medusa are going to be pretty good against this commander. You're going to have to do a lot of micro to avoid having these Medusa just straight up kill your commander. But on the other hand, you can dodge these shots, so it's not necessarily guaranteed damage like a Mantis might be. Down to the center of the map, Mupov is now starting to push back against Snakebit. Snakebit tried to get himself established here, but now with this constant flow of Zooies, with the comm of Mupov just walking in, Snakebit 33 down to 3,800 HP, and he's being forced off this central island, which isn't going to feel particularly good, but he does have T2 Navy pretty much online. He can start producing once this T2 power finishes, and maybe a destroyer or two can really help him stop Mupov from getting a dominant position here from the middle of the map. Mupov has been doing very well economically himself too. Highest eco player for Team 1, sitting on 45 mass a second. I really don't like that Team Matchmaker makes the first player purple. It's really not cool, Team Matchmaker. Whoever does the Team Matchmaker stuff, can you please consider setting it to where it's red and blue? Because this purple, it's very easy to get lost. If you want some feedback, I don't know who runs the Team Matchmaker, but I'm sure somebody can go get in contact with him. Over here to the west, we have a covert engineer drop out from Foodman Steve. Looks as though he wants to try and set up a little bit of a proxy base. Unfortunately for him, T1 bombers are going to continue to haunt his nightmares as Snakebit gets killed in the middle. I thought he was underwater so he'd be fine, but he just goes down, and now it's a 2v4 for Team 2. Oh my lord, I can't believe I missed that, but holy, he wasn't able to get in the water in time, or maybe, yeah, he just didn't walk into the water. He must have tried to stay and fight. And now a destroyer is going to be started out by Navdino, but that's not going to really work. Mupov can just walk over and reclaim this very quickly. Gonna try and build up some torpedo launchers, but that's not the issue. The issue is Zooies are going to start streaming in, and they're going to kill off this factory very quickly. Mupov is going to take some damage from this torpedo launcher, sure, but I think he's just trying to walk onto land and start killing off engineers. He's out of the very shallow water now, and he's already able to fire onto those engineers. Hell, he could probably even overcharge the torpedo launchers if he so felt like it, and that would not be too bad of a decision as he starts walking in towards the main base of formerly Snakebit, and now one of the main bases of Navdino, who is now charged with the task of completely controlling the entire front of his team. He is only a 1,000 rated player. Mupov and Foodmain Steve are 1,300 and 1,200 respectively. He's not even the highest rated player in the game. So this is going to be a very, very difficult ask of a player to manage all of this. And it's starting to look like maybe Team 1 is just going to roll over Team 2. They don't have the same mass production, but does that all that much matter when you're just winning everywhere across the map currently? The only spot of bother, I would say, is Foodman Steve up here to the north, but it's not like he's outright losing or he's having no success. He's still fighting very well, and currently with Nano Repair now on the way in the middle for Mupov, and these Zooies starting to siege this forward position for Navdino. It's going to be very difficult. T2 power going down, and these Zooies, they're going burr. Just watch those little shotgun shells fall from the sky. It's raining shotgun pellets, and right now Navdino is very, very sad. Very sad about the situation. Continues to try and build up some PD to stop this. Not gonna work, unfortunately, for him. Engineers move forward to try and reclaim the Zooies. At least one gonna go down here. Another Zooie under threat. And with Nano Repair 30% done, I can only imagine he'll probably want to go for a Gunna upgrade as well. T3 Air has critically been achieved by Perfect Storm. And over here to the east, some Zooies are trying to incur on the land of Navdino, but he's already here. He's already responded to this, which is very good response times out from Navdino. Not sure if he just predicted that would happen or if he just fortuitously had his units in the right place at the right time. Over here to the east, a frigate manages to kill off the engineer and the factory there, while a Sowisel T1 attack submarine kills off the frigate out from Navdino. Over to the center of the map, these Zooies continuing on their attack order and continuing to gain value right now as they're just pushing in. Some more T1 power going down. Some Cerberus starting to be thrown up with haste as Navdino is currently he has some Cerberus going up in his main base too, with Nano Repair at 66%. Gonna have to see if he gets it in time, because a whole bunch of PD will be able to kind of slow down or even stop a Nanocom pretty easily. A lot of these mass extractors going down, though, means that Navdino is taking a little bit of an economic hit, and now Team 2 is just behind economically. Is that related to a power stall? No, Navdino just doesn't have enough mass generation to be able to keep up with everybody on the enemy team. And Mupov is really just putting the screws to his opposition right now. He currently is about to finish up Nano Repair in just a few seconds. Got some engineers over here to finally assist it. Now speed and range on the way for Mupov, and he is out for blood. Looks as though he might try an assault on this central position, or maybe even an assault onto Navdino's comm itself. And with a nanocom, that would be relatively reasonable. A tactical missile launcher, maybe? Is there a tactical missile launcher out? How did these die? A couple of mass extractors going down there. We do have a tactical missile launcher out over here. I was like, that seems like the only plausible reason for this mass extractor to be dead. You don't reclaim T1 mass extractors to upgrade to T2, And that's going to be real brutal now for Navdino, who's just still struggling with his economy a little bit. Needs more mass to be able to combat this. And now with speed and range and nano on the comm, Mupov starts to push in towards the former base of Snakebit 33. And Snakebit going out so early to Mupov just means that there's not really anything here to stop this. And now it seems as though Team 2 is just gonna collapse under the weight of this orange Seraphim's very aggressive play. He's pushing in, he's killing off Cerberus left and right. He's gonna be able to kill off all of these structures quite easily. And now with the falling of this middle base, Mupov will have his sights set on dealing damage to the other bases. And it may be just a very quick game out from Mupov, as he's just got so many Zooies coming over this mainland. All of these structures are now slated for death, and his comm is a very scary one to have to deal with. T1 bombers out from Navdino trying their best, but try as they might, there's no way they're going to be able to kill off all these Zooies in time. And with that, the Zooies shift towards the north, as well as Mupov's comm to start making its way over to Navdino's base. And that is gonna be brutal. T3 air achieved by Perfect Storm. Do we have T3 air finished up? We do, for Katawonga. And with gunships coming out on the field, Mupov may want to consider going T2 on one of these forward factories. That way he can just very quickly get himself up some hover flak to protect him from attacks such as these. These renegades just firing at the comm, but they're not even really doing significant damage just yet. The comm's still taking all of this in stride for Vet and Nano, giving him 94 HP a second. These renegades gonna have a lot of struggles with actually being able to kill off the commander of Mupov, as this Seraphim comm is very tanky. He is losing health slowly as ASF out from Katawonga come in. They kill off the gunships, but at what cost? As they go down to the opposing ASF. And that is going to leave Katawonga at a little bit of an air disadvantage. Only slightly though, as the ASF come to chase down Katawonga's, and is actually just going to manage to fully kill off all of Katawonga's ASF, and that is a complete air win now for Team 2. The main base of Navdino now under heavy siege from this Seraphim commander, along with all the Zooies. The more things focused on that commander, the more damage the Zooies get to free fire into this base. With the T2 power in the base about to go down, Mupov is really putting the screws to Navdino. And Navdino is in a lot of trouble now, with Mupov pushing in towards the base, killing off these PD about as fast as they're being built. More and more Zooies coming in. Some interceptors out from, I believe that is Johnny Radars, showing up to try and help out over here. And Navdino not only being attacked here, but also some Zooey incursions to the east out from Johnny Radars. But Johnny Radars taking a fair amount of damage himself, as it seems constant raids around the southern side of the map have come in and dealt damage to him. Mupov down to about half HP, but he's not really hurting right now with that incredible regeneration. Now 5 ranks of Vet, meaning 100 HP every single second, gonna be flying onto this commander. He's gonna be able to continue to push in. He's killed off a couple, he's killed off a mass extractor, some power generation. Tactical missile launcher comes in to kill off that power generator. Mupov, sitting on 5,300 HP, needs to consider possibly falling back now. He's taking a lot of damage from the Cerberus. There is no rank of veterancy to be gained here. 3,000 HP, 2,000 HP, and falling quickly down to the nearly triple-digit range on his total HP. The Renegades continuing to fire into that comm. 900 HP and falling. He's in a lot of damage. Are there going to be more Renegades showing up? There are going to be more Renegades showing up. 300 HP, 100 HP, 700, 30, 20, he's down! And Mupov, after a stellar performance, gets defeated. He has managed to knock Team 2 down to a 30 mass generation differential. And he's also managed to really deal a hefty blow onto Novdino in particular. Unfortunately, though, Team 1 has kind of lost air control, and now Foodman Steve, the highest rated player in the game, is sitting on 2 bases and 206 mass a second. We're looking at the economy required to mass produce Monkey Lords. So right now, Foodman Steve really in the driver's seat. Let's see if he can recover from his very tragic start in this game. He's currently using Torpedo on the comm to kill off naval factories and the like. Has his own T2 production, some Salem's out onto the map now. Wagner's going underwater, just getting killed off by torpedo launchers. And starting to try and just push Novdino back. Constant flow of Zooies now flowing in towards the main base of Novdino. He does have a bunch of Cerberus, and Cerberus are pretty good, but you can see here, every single Zooie gets in, fires a couple of shots at the moment. That adds up over time. Needs to expand his Cerberus network to kind of stop the Zooies from even getting as close as they are now, which he's not very close. Maybe even throw up a radar or two. Seems to not necessarily have perfect information on where the Zooies are. Or no, he does. Yeah, just needs to expand his line of Cerberus just a little bit further as Foodman Steve starts to conglomerate his Zooies. Over here to the north, a lot of Mantis, a lot of Medusa starting to make their way towards Foodman Steve's position. He has T2 finished up. He's going for T3, which means he'll be able to build bricks very soon. But does he have enough to stop this kind of incursion from attacking him directly? I think he does, especially with the Salem's over here. Although the Salem's a little bit distracted, forced to deal with various naval threats, does still of course have this force right here to try and protect himself, and can always continue to produce Mantis out of all these T1 factories in his base. Down to the south, mass Zooie production now started up for Novdino, who is, yet again, want to point out, is still doing an amazing job, but Team 1 just seems to have all of the momentum this game, and it started with Barcode going down, and then Snakebit kind of flubbing his retreat there on that central island. But Novdino managing to take down Mupov, who is by far the most aggressive and I think best performing player in this game so far, is definitely a huge blow over on to Team 1. They were doing a lot better with Mupov alive. As currently Foodman Steve using his enhanced eco to get out a little bit more navy, and he's just starting to siege down towards the south, and this could be very dangerous since Novdino might lose his T2 land HQ. Doesn't have one in the main base. I think that's his only Tech 2 structure for production at the moment, so could be a worrying sign if he's unable to deal with this Salem threat. In the center, a whole bunch of Zooies now pushing forward. A bunch of Thumbs now being used to try and defend against this, along with some Ilshvas. Will be very effective at killing off Zooies, as long as they continue to move and try and dodge the Zooie fire. Otherwise, the Zooies will deal with these, just like they deal with anything else, by slowly walking towards it and launching constant shotgun barrages that fall from the sky with devastating effect. And does seem as though that land force is just going to be completely destroyed here, and these Zooies are going to walk their way in and kill off a whole bunch of mass extractors, maybe even get through the back line over here and kill off even more mass extractors. Perfect Storm going for T2 on the comm, has a decent amount of air production, building torpedo bombers. Johnny Radar still trying to be a little bit of aggressive with some Zooie spam, but kind of been relatively quiet this game. Constantly, it would seem, losing some of these outer mass extractors, unable to replace them. Over to the north, the siege of the Salems against the base of Novdino continues. And it's looking kind of bleak, because once this production goes down, there is no threat on towards Foodman Steve anymore. Who's still continuing with the Zooey span, continuing to send it now down to the southeast to try and deal with the base of Barcode. Now transferred over to Navdino from Snakebit. And this base, pretty well defended, I'll have to say. That's a lot of Ilshivas. Navdino doing a relatively stellar job of just keeping things intact, and he's even re-expanding into this base over here in the central area multiple times. I know it's only T1 mexes, but it takes a lot out of you to constantly have to redo something, especially in a game like FAF where it's so taxing and he's basically playing a 1v3, since his ally is only really participating in the air game. Foodman Steve, economy continues to grow. He currently is almost at the same amount of economy as the entirety of Team 2 combined. And I'm very surprised we're not seeing more focus on maybe experimental spam or some kind of later game technology. He does have T3 land now finished up, building some T3 engineers. He also has T3 air finished up. So he's been teching up behind everything. A bit of a Mantis strike now coming in through the north over here. The Ilshivas have managed to clean up these Zooies without much issue. Advanced Nano Repair now on the way for Johnny Radars. Maybe going to try and do what his ally Mupov did not too long ago. If he can manage it, that will be a very powerful commander. Let's see if he can get that upgrade finished and get into the base in time. Does need to worry a little bit about the air game, though, as there is a very good possibility the second he shows his face with that gun upgrade that many gunships start showing up to deal with him. The Salem's now coming over here to the west to kill off the naval production that's kind of eluded Foodman Steve up until this point, and now the Salem's gonna kill off all of the build power, helping to build counter Salem's. The T2 HQ for Navdino goes down, and Foodman Steve is here to make a delivery, and he's delivering pain and suffering onto Navdino as he's just constantly assaulting him with these Salem's, and it's really working out quite well for him. Going to be able to kill off these last two T2 mexes, maybe even be able to walk onto land and kill off even more economy. A T3 mex over here built up, very likely going to be under threat very soon. A bunch of gunships now built up by Foodman Steve to stop the Mantis spam from making its way in and dealing any significant damage. Let's go ahead and check on Reclaim really quick, as we have a bit of a moment of reprieve. I mean, there's still like some assaults happening, but none of them are going anywhere. Looking at Reclaim, Navdino currently leading the pack, unsurprisingly, as he's had to constantly reclaim this entire base in the middle at 16,000. Foodman Steve close behind him at 12,000. 9.2 thousand for Perfect Storm. 8.2 thousand for Catawunga. And Johnny Radars at 6.6 thousand. Overall mass generation this entire game. Team 1 up nearly 150,000 mass. And that is gotta be telling you something, as Team 1 is just in the driver's seat right now. Nice little air grid now building up for Catawunga, as well as, of course, a nice air grid built up for Perfect Storm. But the big scary issue is this air grid now being built up by Foodman Steve, and he is starting his first experimental of what would seem to be many. A Monkey Lord now on the way for Foodman Steve. Have to keep track of that, make sure we see what it does, what it can possibly accomplish. Advanced Nano Repair now at 39%. Really not building all that quick, is it? Needs probably more power generation, if I had to take a guess. Or maybe just more mass. Although he's sitting on a healthy mass, he has T3 power. Maybe he just doesn't have the build power. It doesn't have T2. He needs to get some engineers assisting that, honestly. I wonder, how long does Advanced Nano Repair realistically take? 7 minutes and 40 seconds is a long time. Yeah, that's why it's going so slow. He's not even stalling. Just needs to get some engineers over there to speed that up. You have to remember, whenever you're going for a strategy like this, comm upgrades are very much so on a timer for their usefulness. It's very easy to say, oh, well, I got a comm upgrade, my comm's just better. Advanced Nano Repair is a lot worse when your opponents have T3 armies or have experimentals out on the field than it is when your enemy is still at the T2 phase. As the first Monkey Lord finishes up for Foodman Steve, starts meandering its way down towards the general direction of Team 2. We can watch it walk for a little bit. Walk this way, talk this way. Alright. This has been a wonderful a wonderful episode of Willow Sings. I've always wondered why the shadows are all like messed up in my version, but seriously, doesn't this game look amazing? Just look at that. Just look at it. Watch, it's gonna walk right past here. Such a cinematic angle, such a cinematic view. Looks very good for a game from 2007. And of course, we can take a moment here. Yet again, not all that much action going on. We have a bit of an attempt at some ground pressure out from Navdino, trying to use those Wagners to come up onto land. Gets shut down by the Renegades. And that's about all at the moment. SMD finished up for Katawonga, and now a nuke about to finish for Katawonga. Gonna have to see how much assistance he puts onto that. And if he can manage to get a sneaky, cheeky little nuke off onto Team 2. This is Team 2. Team Blue. Team 2, it rhymes. See, I got this. And, of course, no anti-nuke in the base of Perfect Storm. Those are both tactical missile defense. Second Monkey Lord finishing up now for Foodman Steve. And I would assume he's just going to start up a third. You just start building experimentals and you don't stop until you decide that you need game enders. At least that's what I try to do. Over here to the east, Zooey's out from Navdino. Starting to make their way north. As well as a whole bunch of whaler heavy gunships out from Navdino, starting to deal with this naval presence out from Johnny Radars, who is still upgrading Advanced Nano Repair. By the time he gets it, it's not going to be useful, because if he steps onto land, he's just going to get shot by a bunch of whaler heavy gunships. Yet again, build power. It's one of the best resources in this game that you need to learn to manage. And this was a mismanagement of build power. But enough of me preaching. I don't want to be that preachy caster telling you everything you should and shouldn't do. I'm more here for the pretty colors and explosions. And we're going to speed up until we see some more pretty colors and explosions, because right now the game is relatively a little bit slow. Neither side really wants to go punch the other in the face. Johnny Radar is now starting to produce a sizable army of Othams, sending them through the middle because he is like, you know what time it is? It's time to punch you in the face. And we really like watching people punch each other in the face here at Willow Industries. As Bloodsport is the only sport worth watching on the internet nowadays. A big air fight taking place over here to the east, and it would seem that Perfect Storm just had a better grasp on how to do air micro, as he just wins this handily, and they were at relatively even numbers of ASF. Now Foodman Steve gonna try his hand at assisting in the air game, but decides against it, I should say. T3 mechs now under threat from the second Monkey Lord, going to be able to walk its way in. The first Monkey Lord just chilling with a bunch of Othams at the bottom of the sea. Over here to the east, Johnny Radars walks onto land after getting Advanced Nano Repair and just immediately dies. Okay then. That upgrade was real worth it. What was he worried about? You'd need a lot of torpedo bombers. What just died? Wait, what was the second explosion? I don't understand. Okay, there must be an SCU somewhere that died. But Foodman Steve sitting on 600 mass a second. He has a lot of mass per second. He's now starting to push south. Doesn't bother to kill off the T3 mass extractor. That feels like a mistake. And of course, he's walking south with his Monkey Lord in the north. And to the south of the base of Navdino, another Monkey Lord along with a huge group of Othams. Now, the Othams that were both produced by Foodman Steve and Johnny Radars finished up there. Was that another Monkey Lord finished up? Where was that experimental? Not quite sure. Oh, it was a chicken over here for Foodman Steve. And the Monkey Lord and Otham combo pushing through this base once again, but it's still just T1 mexes. Navdino isn't really losing anything here. Although Team 1 can afford to waste mass on... They can kill something for nothing. It's still worth it. Like, it's not like they're killing nothing. A Monkey Lord finishes up now for Navdino. Needs to use it to stop this Monkey Lord. A strategic launch detected. Going to the base of Perfect Storm. He gets his comm moving. Probably wants to move these SCUs as well, because that one is going to land. Not seeing any TMD. Whalers come in, kill off this Monkey Lord up to the north. The Monkey Lord out from Navdino kills off the Monkey Lord out from Foodman Steve. I'm catching all the things. Trust me, it's not too much. I should probably slow down the game speed though. That was definitely more difficult than it needed to be. A bunch of ASF out from Foodman Steve, now starting to get shot at by Whalers. They're trying to take down the Whalers themselves, but there's just too many here as the nuclear missile going to come in and just absolutely... This base is gonna be no more. Totally annihilate this base. Poor SCU goes down in the crossfire. And with that, the air hopes for Team 2 are all but eliminated. They've been winning air. They still have an air presence, at least for now. But being unable to produce more ASF is a huge detriment. Navdino starting to produce a whole bunch of Monkey Lords. He already has 2. This one was built right before that Monkey Lord walked in for Foodman Steve, and there's another one already done, and there's a third one about to finish. They can't even get, like, out the front door before a new one finishes. Navdino throwing all of his economy into building spiders. He's gonna have 4 spiders, and, like, this spider's gonna be done in how long? Look at that. Health flying on 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 HP. That's gonna take no time to build whatsoever. This is going to be a lot of Monkey Lords very quickly. Already up to 3, a 4th on the way. The chicken in the base of Foodman Steve, kind of forgotten about, like my hopes and dreams. And Whalers in the middle out from Perfect Storm. Going to be able to kill off the T3 land HQ that was built up in the middle here by Foodman Steve. Meaning that he only has 1 T3 land HQ for the Seraphim. I know. How tragic. And 2 T3 air HQs for the Seraphim, 1 for the Cybran. And that's a Scathis being built by just the ACU with T3. Okay, more stuff assisting the Scathis now. In the center of the map, more Othams making landfall, going to try and deal some more economic damage. Many T3 mechs have gone down now for Navdino, but he doesn't care. He's still just throwing all of the economy he can into Monkey Lords. And this Monkey Lord over here to the north of Navdino's base, trying to hunt down these Othams. Not quite able to get in range to where he can use the microwave laser equipped on that Monkey Lord. Once it gets into range, though, we'll be able to kill off these Othams pretty quickly. I don't think the Othams can see the Monkey Lord, so they're not able to return fire as of the moment. A Monkey Lord in the center starting to march its way towards the base of Foodman Steve. And when I say base, I mean the main base. As Othams shoot back under the water into the sea. Another strategic launch detected, and it's going into the base of Novdino. And critically, Novdino doesn't have an anti-nuke. He didn't build one after seeing Perfect Storm get nuked. And Perfect Storm hasn't even rebuilt an anti-nuke. That's interesting. So this nuke gonna land, and oh no, just when I thought that maybe Novdino had found the key to success, he found the keys to the kingdom. He started mass producing Monkey Lords. It's all gonna go downhill. The Whalers in the middle going to almost assuredly kill that chicken. Oh my, look at the bottom left there. Oh my, woo! Oh, that chicken's going on a slim fast diet because he's losing health faster than a fat kid at McDonald's. All right. So, Johnny Radars. Oh, wow, these waters are shallow. Yeah, that chicken very unfortunately found that out. There's still a Monkey Lord making its way north, trying to position itself to get into the main base of Foodman Steve. He doesn't have a defensive experimental here. A Megalith would be a very good option to just build very quickly while you, before finishing the Scathis. He's opted for the end game strategy. I'll have to see that pays off. Wow, it is. Okay, that's a ground fire, isn't it? Okay. He was trying to ground fire. It really looked like they were targeted directly onto that Otham, though. The water's not quite that shallow, Perfect Storm. The ASF of Perfect Storm getting caught out, and it's really bad. Every time there's a little trade right here where you see a few ASF out for Perfect Storm going down, those are ASF that are not easily replaceable. He is getting back up to T3 air, still doesn't have an anti-nuke, which makes me worried, as there's currently 2 nuke launchers now built up for Katawonga, who has been silently playing a pretty decent game. Hasn't had very good luck with the air fights, but did go for that early nuke, and it's really paying off for his team. Now, if Dino's built yet another spider, despite losing those 4 mexes, he's gone up in mass since then. Probably a lot to do with stuff down here, and maybe there's some mass fabs going on, not sure. And over to the west, it's a bunch of Whalers starting to kill off a large amount of bricks. This Monkey Lord heading up here to the north. Unfortunately, it's going to die to Salem's. Monkey Lord not long for this world. A bunch of Othams down here in the center being killed off by a Monkey Lord. I'm saying Monkey Lord a lot, but you know, Novdino has built a bunch of them. Currently on screen, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Monkey Lords, about to be 4. A 5th about to finish up. He just has an affinity for these spider bots, okay? He's building a bunch of Seraphim T2 naval units out of this factory here. And that's a large group of Zooies now starting to push its way in towards one of the bases of Foodman Steve. Foodman Steve doesn't have TMD. Oh no, he's going to be losing T3 mexes to just a handful of cruisers and some Zooies coming down Main Street. That's very, very unfortunate for Foodman Steve. Going to be losing quite a little bit of economy there. T3 mexes not the best thing to be losing, honestly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 6th Monkey Lord about to finish up. That's a lot of Monkey Lords.
Strategic launch detected.
Strategic launch detected. Where is this one going? Oh, it's going right here to one of the other bases of Novdino. Oh, and here's another nuke launch into the main base of Perfect Storm, who still doesn't have anti-nuke. Oh no. Anti-nuke, guys. Come on. You need it. Ah, it feels so bad. This 2v4 now turned 3, or I guess it was, yeah, at one point it was a 2v4, turned 2v2. Going horribly now for Navdino and Perfect Storm, who are just losing so much to these nuclear weapons. Let's go ahead and see if we can get the double nuke on screen. First nuke lands. Second nuke gonna be incoming soon. Man, the second nuke is taking much longer than I thought it would take to get here. Oh, I'm gonna miss it. I'm sure that was beautiful to watch, but I did catch it. And that is gonna be knocking down Team 2 quite a few pegs, honestly. But the good news is, Navdino still has a stupid amount of Monkey Lords. And he's still building more. He still has the mass to build Monkey Lords. I mean, it's still 249 mass a second. That'll build you a Monkey Lord relatively quickly. Needs to rebuild some of his economy, and he's doing so very quickly using T3 engineers to spam out mass extractors. Pauses his hives. He's just gonna rebuild. He's spaced out his main base quite well. Can't quite say the same down here to the south. Seems as though most of his resources down here are T1 still. Does maybe have a couple T2 engineers kicking around to rebuild some of those mexes. Has a T3 mex coming down here, is going to build T3 mexes by itself. That takes a while, but we'll eventually have them. He's not bothering to cap these mechs at this point. Honestly, I'm surprised he still has the wherewithal to rebuild the mexes, because at a certain point, you're 45 minutes in, you've been managing 3 bases for the majority of that time. You start to lose the entire script of the game. I mean, you can see right here, Foodman Steve, a higher rated player, this base is practically speaking idle. He has queued up mass extractors somehow. I don't know what has that order. Who has this order? Oh, it's these ones down here, even though he has perfectly good T3 engineers in his base. We have 3 Monkey Lords approaching the base of Foodman Steve. And we don't have a proper response. We have a 43% done status. That's what we have right now. Navdino, this might just be a killing blow, honestly. It may kill off Foodman Steve. Although I'm not sure if that would save them at all, as neither of the players on Team 2 have discovered what an anti-nuke is. I still don't think either of them has built one. Legitimately, neither of them have an anti-nuke. Maybe there was an anti-nuke here whenever that nuke landed. That's possible. But I didn't see it, so therefore it didn't exist. And currently, 2 Monkey Lords making their way into the base. This Monkey Lord having some terrain issues. And with the triple Monkey Lord threat, Foodman Steve starts to walk away. And in come the Monkey Lords. In sporting that beautiful cyan color. And this base is gonna go up in flames very soon. Renegades in the air trying to stop the Monkey Lords. The air grid now under fire. And so very many mass investments going down here. These Monkey Lords killing off everything in their wake. And Navdino has legitimately just dealt a critical blow down on towards Team 1. This base is just in shambles now. A nuke out from Katawonga. Oh, that's not gonna even hit any of the... Oh, that's not even gonna hit any of the Monkey Lords. Foodman Steve being chased down. Cheers, nuke to the reclaim. Foodman Steve control Ks. And... yeah, not even this Monkey Lord's gonna take significant damage. Took like 2,000 damage at best. And now it's left to Katawonga alone to hold off this experimental wave. One of the experimentals did go down. There's still an Air Force, surprisingly, for Perfect Storm. Although he doesn't have a T3 air... Oh, no, he does have a T3 area HQ. And there's more experimentals constantly coming. A Monkey Lord coming down here. There's Monkey Lords in the main base defending for Novdino. And I think that Novdino has managed to carry his team. There's still the opportunity for Katawonga to win this game by nuking the commanders. But that's such a small chance, as both times I think the commanders have... every time a nuke has gone off, the commanders have walked away from wherever they are. And now the Monkey Lords continue their rampage. Another one joining the fray, walking in towards this base. The base of Johnny Radars has been the only base this entire game that has not been, like, truly attacked other than Katawonga, which we don't count. Like, this base has just been chilling the entire game. And now, Novdino. I'm speeding the game up a little bit, because, Novdino looks like he's pretty dominant at this point. I think he's still he's building Soul Rippers now. He's just balling so much he's gonna build a bunch of Soul Rippers. Monkey Lord walking in towards the base of Katawonga. It doesn't seem very likely that it's gonna get very far with all these whalers, but a second Monkey Lord on full veterancy gonna walk in. This one also on full veterancy, useful to point out. Walking in, gonna be able to kill off that mass extractor and continue to walk towards the main base. Both nuke launchers getting close to being able to fire. A third nuke launcher queued up. First Monkey Lord goes down, second one continuing to walk its way in towards the base of Katawonga. And the third Monkey Lord down here coming down to try and kill off all this. Strategic launch detected. Placed directly, basically directly on top of the comm of Perfect Storm. Thankfully, Perfect Storm seems to be walking the correct direction, and he just gets in a transport. Honestly, yeah. You just get in a transport. Although I don't know if I would land right there. I mean, there's a lot of structures there. You could argue that he may nuke right there. And Perfect Storm evades the nukes. Unfortunately for him, his base is going to go down. He finally built an anti-nuke, but never loaded it. The first nuke lands, doesn't kill pretty much anything. Second nuke almost got blocked by that anti-nuke, but not quite. Soul Ripper and Monkey Lords killing off everything over here, and a Control K out from Katawonga means that this game is over. Thank you all so much for watching. You've been beautiful. Novdino and Perfect Storm played one hell of a game to manage to come out as the victors in this one. If you like the content, please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. Consider joining the channel membership or the Patreon if you want to support the channel more, or you want access to videos earlier as a channel member, or your name at the end of every video as a Patreon. You all are all so beautiful. Join the Discord if you want to talk to me or any of the beautiful members of my community. I'll see you in the next one. This is Willow, signing off.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.